What is up, everybody? It's your boy Journos here, back here again for a sort of different kind of video today. I'm here today to give you guys a little review and kind of recap of what happened at UFC 183 last night. It was certainly a crazy night. I seen a lot of great fights, but certainly most of the it was like practically a lot of good fights last night, and that was the best part. And certainly the thing is, I'm gonna get right to the real main event, like the co-main event, real main event. Tyron Woodley versus I forgot what his opponent's name was, but Tyron Woodley's fight, it was amazing. Because Woodley, like, everybody kept saying, like, oh, Woodley's going to knock him out in the first round. I didn't see no knockout in the first round. Woodley was, like, timing his patience, timing his stamina and stuff, so he won't be tired in the later rounds. And that's what he did that fight, and that's what happened. Now, Woodley won by decision, and it was crazy that it was a close fight. That fight was really close. And literally, I think Woodley could be a top contender for the championship, and that's what I'm thinking of. That's what he could do. So, okay, so where was I going? Oh yeah, I'm gonna skip right back to the main event. The main event was Anderson Silva versus Nick Diaz, a 5-round super fight in the middleweight division. That was one of the greatest fights. That was gonna be one of the coolest fights I've ever seen in my life. When I seen like Anderson Silva come out and actually like literally walk in the octagon, it was an emotional time for me. Probably an emotional time for his fans and stuff, for his family, of course himself, because no one expected him to be back there so fast. He's like practically almost 40 years old. He's a 39-year-old man, and he's coming back into the octagon after a broken leg injury when he received against Chris Weidman at UFC 168. That was over like 2 years ago. That was about 13 months ago. It was a year ago. But Nick Diaz took 2 years off. He took 2 years off, and his last fight was against GSP for the welterweight championship. We haven't seen him since. He took a little time off. You know, it was good for his body. He did triathlons like monthly for the time he was off, and that was good for him because he actually got better with his cardio and all that. He was able to, and he's thinking he could be a fight. He was in great shape. When it came to the fight, it was certain, like, the atmosphere was just amazing. That people just wanted to see that fight. It was crazy how the fight actually transpired. That I was thinking like, oh, they were gonna go down. They weren't gonna, like, the first round. I really thought they were not gonna go to the ground. When they didn't, they're not even gonna go to not go to the ground game. No one's gonna take nobody down. I really thought it was gonna be a stand-up game for like the first 2 rounds. Then out of nowhere, like Nick Diaz gonna try to take down Anderson Silva. I think that happened. Yeah, Anderson Silva. It was actually one takedown attempted that fight, and that was from Nick Diaz. Anderson Silva had some great sprawl that round. But in the first round, Nick Diaz, he did his usual thing. He likes to trash talk, so he was in that octagon trash talking. He had his hands up a different way. He kept talking to Anderson like, yo, let's do this, let's do that, like do that. He was really trying to get into his head so he can be off guard. And an angry fighter does not win. Angry fighter is not a good fighter. They do not win games, not win fights. Anderson was disciplined with himself being a disciplined fighter, that not to lose yourself in those type of situations when somebody's trying to attempt to trash talk you, even though that's what he does to other fighters, and they lose their cool. So that's what he wants to do, and that's what Nick Diaz wanted. Nick Diaz wanted Anderson Silva to throw careless strikes so he can do counter strikes. So now going back onto the fight, this fight went really, it was a very long fight. It felt like it was an eternity, but that was the best part of the fight, that we actually seen more of these two actually fighting. I wanted to see these two fight forever, and that was crazy how these two actually like at the end of the fight were on the same page. Like at the end of every round, you see like Nick was trying to go at her. Like I don't know what round. I think it was like after the second round. Nick tried to go after Anderson in his corner, and the thing is, And then there was one corner that Anderson and him walked to the wrong corner. And I thought that was like, oh, Nick, come on, man. But, yeah. So, that was the first round. The first round, Nick Diaz really surprised me because everybody just started laughing at him because he was acting like a fool in the octagon. He laid down in front of Anderson. Then he got back up and laid against the cage. Like, it was just crazy. Had the trash talk happen. Anderson, for an old guy, he knew how to keep his cool. He was just, like, perfect. He was giving some perfect strikes. And he had a lot more strikes than Nick Diaz. And that was the part that people... That was the part that may have made Nick Diaz lost that fight, was that he could not win by strikes, and that was the bad part. Nick Diaz, he's a usual guy that's like, usually he can sit on the ground, but he can fight when he's on the ground, but certainly he can fight on the ground because he's a jiu-jitsu background. Anderson Silva is a stand-up guy and sort of a ground guy. He knows the submission game perfectly. But Nick Diaz is like a jiu-jitsu master. He had a Gracie coach him, and he knows how to fight. So in the later rounds, I think it was the third round. Third round, Nick Diaz didn't throw that many strikes, and it was just Anderson Silva just throwing crazy strikes at him. And Anderson, I think it was Anderson or Nick. I think it was the fourth or third round that Anderson Silva was just like the only one that was throwing strikes that entire round. Nick only threw like what, like 11 or 7 strikes at fight in that round. And that was the crazy part about it. And that was what really cost Nick Diaz. That round, he didn't really do anything. He was allowing Anderson Silva just to attack him that entire round, and that's what cost him to lose that round. Because certainly Nick Diaz, I really thought Nick Diaz did not like Anderson Silva just like ran away with this fight. We did not see anything coming from Nick Diaz that fight, because Nick Diaz was really not the type of person, you know, to get into situations like that. But Anderson Silva did a great job, and it was a good comeback for him. And Anderson Silva, I don't know what's his next move. He said his next move is to be going on with his family. His next move should be getting back for that championship spot. But certainly, I know he's still a little bit mad that he just screwed up. He screwed up his own entire life by having his championship get taken away. Not taken away. He just let his championship just fall out of his hands when he lost to Chris Weidman. For Nick Diaz, I really think he should stay in the welterweight, or it'll be good to see him in the middleweight, see him like first some good fighters. But I think he should stay in the welterweight because he's kind of a small guy for the middleweight. If you've clearly seen, if you watched the fight last night, it was kind of obvious that Nick Diaz is a small guy. I don't think he's really that middleweight type. So I think he should just stay in the welterweight division. Try to go for Robbie Lawler. So I want to see Robbie Lawler versus him again. That would be a good fight. I want to see Nick Diaz just be champion. That's what I want to see. And I want to see Anderson Silva be champion. I want to see, and probably we'll see another super fight between them, but they're both champion. Combine both champions. That would be good. You know, that probably could not happen, but you know. But thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and comment on this video, and don't forget to subscribe. And please tell me what was your favorite part about UFC 183 in the comment section below. Peace.